Hello everybody, Jeff here. Well, my new speaker surround kits from Simply Speakers have arrived. So now we get to get started on working on getting those speakers fixed. So, first thing I got to do is pull the woofers out of the cabinets. So we'll get that done. Okay, I have the woofers out. And as you can see right through there down to the table on that one. And this one's starting to go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read the instructions real closely. I want to make sure I follow the instructions exactly as much as I can. And I'm going to do one of them first before I make the video on how to do them. I'll do that on a second one. That way I know exactly what I got to do. So, but right now I got some other stuff I got to do. I got some places to go tonight, so we'll get back started on these later. Okay, a couple of basic tools you're going to need is a utility knife, a small wood scraper, some gunk off of that, and some rubbing alcohol. Okay, first of all, using the utility knife, there's a gasket around the edge. I'm going to pry that off, and that's coming off pretty easily. It didn't take much effort at all. And then you want to get all the old surround out. To start off, I'm going to just pick, and this is I did the one that was the worst gone first. This is the one that was in a little bit better shape. See, it's not taking much to just hold my fingernail there and spin it around, and it just pretty much disintegrates. Be real careful that you don't tear the cone too. This cone's pretty tough though, so it'll be pretty hard to tear it. Okay, and next, using the wood chisel, I'm going to scrape the excess foam off the frame. And this one actually doesn't have as much on it as the other one did. Next thing you want to do is get the excess foam off the edge of the cone. And the way to do that, a little bit of rubbing alcohol, soak it on a paper towel or cotton swab or something, and just rub a little bit on here on the edge. Being real careful, you want to be real careful that you don't tear the cone. What this does is loosen up the foam. I'm only going to go a little ways here at a time here. And then take a utility knife and just gently scrape the edge. Get as much of that off as you can. Should come off pretty easily once it's soaked with alcohol. This is probably the most time consuming part of the whole job is getting the excess foam off. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but I'm getting a big strip of it off here. Wet it down a little more. There's my technique. Slightly scrape on it with the knife. Okay, I might turn the camera off while I do the rest of it. Okay, I've got the edge of the cone cleaned off the best I can get it. It also might help if you got an air compressor to keep it, blow it off for once in a while, get the bits off, but don't use a lot of pressure, just very lightly. This isn't included in these, doesn't say to do this in the instructions, but I have the compressor right here, so I thought I'd make use of it. Listen to my air compressor run. I'm also going to clean the outside of the frame off with alcohol real good too. Get all the excess glue off of that. This pile is about empty. And you also want to get the excess foam off the gasket. So I'm going to hold this over the wastebasket here and peel this off. Okay, I've got everything cleaned up, best I can get it. Now this is the new surround. Now there's two different ways you can do it. First of all, you want to check to make sure that it's going to fit. Now this is slightly smaller than the other one, but it's not too small. What it means is it's going to overlap onto the whole cone a little more. So, but it didn't seem to cause a problem with the other ones. There's a couple different ways you can do this, depending on whether the original surround was glued to the back of this speaker, if the cone was on an angle, or if it was on the front. Now this cone's on a slight angle, and it's glued pretty much on that angle. They're on the edge, so you can either slide the edge under the cone and glue it to the back of the cone, or you can glue it to the top of the cone. And even if your speaker, according to what the instructions say, even if your speaker was on the back part of the cone, you can still put it on the front part, and it says it won't affect the sound quality. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is turn this upside down. Take my adhesive and run about a 1/8 bead around this edge. It's not perfect, but I can never get anything perfect. It's pretty much impossible. Put the cap back on. Okay, now I'm kind of be careful doing this. I'm going to place it on the cone, try to get it as even as I can. I'm using this outer ring in the cone as kind of a guide. Just kind of get it centered and as even as I can here. not going to get perfect, but centering the cone is more critical in the next step. Okay, and you kind of want to lightly rub your finger around the edge to get it to stick down. Okay, now I want to let this sit and dry for about an hour. So we'll wait another hour. Okay, we're ready to glue the outside edge down. And this is the critical part, like I said, about getting them centered on. So what you want to do is press down on the... Okay, for some reason the camera quit recording, but the outer edge is glued down. But basically what you want to do is, flip the edge back, put a bead of glue in, down, and while you're sticking it down, just keep working the cone to make sure it stays centered and that you don't have any rubbing. That's good, it's not rubbing. So after this is, rub your finger around it for a few minutes to get it seated, and then let it set and dry for about another hour. So I don't know how much other video I lost, but it is what it is. Wait till the next step. Okay, this is dry. Now it's time to replace the gasket. So now the instructions say to run a bead of glue along the edge of the foam and place the gasket. But since this has a shape like this and has two edges, I'm going to just apply the glue to the edges of the gasket there. So let me push this out of the way. And we'll just run a bead of glue along both edges here. I didn't get it perfectly clean, but it should be alright. Okay, there's one more step, and this is optional, and this is the other speaker. I didn't do quite a neat of a job on this one, but is to apply a foam sealer around the edge. And this is, I paid extra for this. It's optional. It's not, you don't have to do this, but I figured it'd help protect the edge of the edge more. And if I get another 20 years out of these speakers, I'd be happier than a lark. So it just says to apply a little bit and then spread it around with a brush. And I'm not too happy because this leaked on over the inside of the bag and gummed up the brush. But it didn't leak out enough that I don't have enough to use. So okay, while I'm waiting for that one to dry, and before I put the sealer on this one, I'm going to end the video right here. I'll make a separate video of the test, but I want to get started editing this together. So I'm going to call that the end of this video. You'll have a good day, and stay tuned for the test when these are ready to go. So we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.